Now that we know that fiber is our gut's best friend, here's my question for you today. What do you think actually happens when that fiber gets to your gut? I mean, does it simply pass through? Or could it be that something much more interesting is happening? Hello friend, and welcome to the Plant-Powered Life, where we make plant-based nutrition simple, practical and evidence-informed. On this channel, we help men and women over 40 build great health through whole food, plant-based eating. So, in our last video, we discovered why fiber is our gut's best friend. Today, we're going to follow that fiber right inside your gut. Because once certain types of fiber enters your gut, in fact, enters your large intestine, something rather remarkable begins to happen. And it involves the millions, the trillions of microorganisms called the microbes that live right there in your gut. You see, those gut microbes are waiting. Now remember, our bodies don't completely digest certain types of fiber. Some of that fiber travels through our digestive system and it eventually reaches the large intestine. And when it gets there, some of your gut microbes get to work. Now remember, some of your gut microbes get to work. In other words, they're happy. And what they're saying is, dinner has arrived. Now, certain gut microbes can ferment components of the fiber that we can't digest ourselves. And during that fermentation process, they produce substances called short-chain fatty acids. Now hold on a minute, please don't switch off just because I've used a scientific term. You don't need to remember all the terminology. However, there is one short-chain fatty acid that I'd like you to remember today that I did touch on yesterday, and it's called butyrate. Now here's why butyrate is so interesting. Now butyrate is an important source of energy for the cells lining your colon. Now just think about that for a moment. You eat a fiber-rich plant food. Some of that fiber reaches your large intestines and some, remember, some microbes ferment it. They then produce short-chain fatty acids, including butyrate, and butyrate can then be used as fuel by the cells lining your colon. Now, isn't that just remarkable? So what's actually happening is that the cells are being nourished by the butyrate. Well, here we're seeing another part of that story. Plant food, fiber, gut microbes, butyrate, colon cells. Now that's what I call plant-powered nourishment. And butyrate isn't the only short-chain fatty acid produced, but it's a particularly interesting one because of its relationship with the cells of the colon and the gut environment. And by the way, my friend, if you're finding value in this, please subscribe to the Plant-Powered Life for daily plant-powered nutrition and health tips. Now I have another question for you. If our gut microbes are able to use certain fibers, are we giving them enough variety to work with? Because here's something extremely important. Fiber isn't just one single substance. You see, different plant foods contain different types and combinations of fibers and other plant compounds too. So gut health isn't necessarily about finding one magical high fiber food and eating it every day. This is where variety becomes important. Beans, lentils, whole grains, leafy greens, other vegetables too, fruit, berries, nuts and seeds. They're all bringing different things to the gut. And this is something that connects very strongly with my own story. As many of you know, after becoming seriously ill, my recovery caused me to look at food differently. I became much more interested in nourishment, not simply to do with whether or not I had eaten, but really about what I was actually giving my body. And that has remained important to me because sometimes when we're trying to become healthier, and particularly when we're trying to lose weight, almost all of our attention goes towards what can I remove, what can I stop eating, what can I cut out, or what can I eat less of. But there's another question that I think we should be asking ourselves, and that is, what might I be missing? I remember during the time when my recovery became my classroom and I was listening to Dr. Brooke Goldner of goodbyelupus.com, she would say, add what you're missing. Her nutrition approach, particularly emphasizing increasing nutrient-rich plant foods such as leafy greens, cruciferous vegetables, and fruit. And I love the principle behind that because rather than beginning with deprivation, we're asking, what nourishment can I add? I mean, maybe you're hardly eating leafy greens. Could you add some? Maybe fruit rarely appears in your day. Could you add some? Perhaps you're eating vegetables, but it's the same one or two vegetables every day. Could you add some variety? And maybe beans and lentils rarely appear on your plate. Could you add some? And when we begin adding a greater variety of whole plant foods, we're also increasing the variety of fibers and other plant compounds entering our digestive system. And that brings us straight back to our gut microbes. So today's problem isn't I need more fiber. The question is, am I giving my gut microbes enough variety of plant-powered nourishment from which to extract that fiber and other nutrients as well as fiber? You see, it's quite possible to say, yes, I do eat plants, of course I do, while eating the same small handful of plants over and over again. So today we're going to do something about that. Remember, we're still adding, we're not building yet, and we're certainly not trying to create a whole new lifestyle overnight. We're keeping it really simple, one step, one addition, one simple choice at a time. So here's your new 3-day challenge. Now I'm going to call this the 3-day fiber variety challenge. And it's incredibly simple. Here's what I'd like you to do. For the next 3 days, I'd like you to add one fiber-rich whole plant food that you didn't eat the day before. That's it. We're not removing, we are adding. So perhaps on day 1 you could add some berries. On day 2 perhaps you could add some lentils. And on day 3 perhaps you could add some leafy greens. Or maybe yours will be chickpeas, ground flaxseed, broccoli, beans and apple, or some oats. It might even be another whole plant food that's not normally part of your diet. Think of it this way, the individual food is not the main part. Variety is the challenge. Now at the end of those 3 days, what I'd like you to do is to look back and ask, how many different plants did I manage to add? And as you're doing the challenge day by day, notice how you feel. Pay attention to yourself. Now, I'm not claiming that 3 days of eating a few extra plants is going to transform your health overnight. That's not the point. We're just beginning a habit of noticing. And here's what we're noticing. How is your digestion? How is your regularity? Know what I mean? How satisfied are you after eating? Are you feeling less weighed down? And perhaps most importantly, are you beginning to look at your plate differently? Because, my friend, that's where transformation begins. Remember, instead of looking at your plate and immediately thinking, what can I take away? I want you to start asking, what can I add to nourish my body? And what about feeling sluggish? Perhaps some of you may have started this video because you simply don't feel your best. Perhaps you feel sluggish. Maybe your digestion feels a little slow, or perhaps you're trying to manage your weight. You see, fiber-rich whole plant foods can support healthy digestion, regularity, and fiber can also contribute to fullness after meals. But I don't want us chasing one isolated symptom. Our approach on this channel is health first. So we're asking, how can I nourish this body well? And as we begin giving our bodies more of what they need, we're creating a nutritional environment that supports overall health. And you know where I'm going with this, to the focus. The focus being in the ABC method. It's A for add. In my plant-powered lifestyle, the ABC method, we're deliberately staying with add at the moment. You see, I don't want you thinking, I've got to change everything. No, not at all. Add one healthy choice. That's where we begin. But today, we're just making that add a little bit more intentional. Add variety. Now, if you're ready for some help putting these simple plant-powered principles into practice, you'll find my plant-powered lifestyle, the ABC method, linked in the description below this video. It gives you a practical framework for beginning your own plant-powered journey, one step at a time. But before you go, I'd love an answer from you. What plant are you going to add today? Don't give me your whole week's menu, just one. Just comment, I'm adding lentils, or I'm adding berries, or I'm adding greens, or perhaps I'm adding beans. Then tomorrow, add something different. Let's see how much plant variety we can get into our diets together. So you know the saying, if you know, you know. So now we know. Remember, they can produce short-chain fatty acids, including butyrate, and butyrate provides an important source of energy for the cells lining our colon. So remember, you're not simply eating, you are nourishing. And sometimes the first step towards nourishing ourselves better isn't asking, what should I stop eating? It's asking, what am I missing and what can I add? Now, if you found value in this video, please do like, subscribe, and share it with someone who you know could benefit from it. And if you haven't watched Fibre, your gut's best friend, please watch that video next, because it gives you the foundation for everything we've spoken about today. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Nourishing. This is the Plant Powered Life, and I'll see you in the next video. Remember, small steps, big change, lasting health. Bye for now.